back, ladies and gentlemen. 49 coming at you with another community shoutcast for the OUSA Dota League Season 1. We're just loading into game number 2 of Felfy and Friends up against Horsemen of the Ruckus. Game number 1, Felfy and Friends with a surprise Shadow Fiend pick was able to completely dominate the Horsemen of the Ruckus. They were able to take apart their early game aggression and punish them for it. And joining me as my co-caster is 5200 mid player for Bambi Rising. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's a convincing game for FnF just then.
Yeah, I don't know who this Vito Corleone guy is, but god damn is he good on Shadow Fiend. That was some Yafet's level players. I was expecting someone to blast Hot Ride from Prodigy in the background.
I think I want to give credits to the support from FnF. They give him a lot of space.
Yeah, that level 1 rotation ensured he got the entire wave worth of CS. So that meant that Dumbledy couldn't actually out CS him in lane, just because he actually hit harder than he did with the Necro Mastery as well as the Wraithband pickup. So respect.
I kind of wish Silencer went bottom instead of mid, and Slark go for the mid.
Yeah, I thought that was what they were going to do, because Slark actually trades very favorably against the Shadow Fiend, just because you can bully him out with pounce. If you catch him with even with a level 1 pounce, you can just right click him down, because Shadow Fiend's very squishy. Really surprised.
10 seconds remaining. Sakuchi prematurely, and then the Lion and Centaur can follow up when
5 seconds remaining.
Because Sakuchi is quite low.
Yeah, or I even thought Silencer would be 1v1 against the Weaver, and you'd have the Mirana tri-lane with the Lion and the Centaur Warrunner. I thought that would have been the logical setup, but Horsemen of the Ruckus went for a bit of a strange laning phase.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll see how they come back from that right now.
Yeah, we've got 2 respect bands coming up from Horsemen of the Ruckus, Visage as well as the Disruptor. Felfy's friend, he's been playing something like a Disruptor in every single game. Apart from that last game, we actually played a pretty good Earthshaker, so it turns out he can play more than that Disruptor. Always good to know.
He's been watching your cast, that's why, just then I think he typed out, what am I gonna do? They ban out with Disruptor.
It's always good to know.
I think you hurt his feelings, man.
Hey, he played a very convincing Earthshaker. That level 1 rotation to the mid lane gave Shadow Fiend so much space, it really shut down Dumbledy. Was very surprised. He's one of the best 1v1 players in New Zealand, so the fact that he got shut down so bad by the Shadow Fiend, very surprising.
I think maybe he just did not expect Vito Corleone to be that good. Remaining. Maybe he might have underestimated him a little bit. Yeah,
definitely, because Vito Corleone, very convincing. Oh god, they've got through Invoker, so Vito Corleone is going to be playing Invoker this game. We'll see if this gets punished by the Horsemen of the Ruckus, but otherwise, the last series I casted, last game I casted where Vito Corleone had Invoker was up against 2IP. 2IP is actually a pretty good team, but he just completely spanked them around. So we'll see how he does this game. UGTFO over in the signature hero, the Mirana. He actually did miss a fair few amount of arrows that last game. Wasn't on form. Usually he actually misses 2 or 3 in the entire game. Remaining. That last game he missed a fair few. But nonetheless, very solid player. 5 seconds remaining. Incredibly consistent in his off-lane play. Provides that solid base for the rest of his team to be able to launch their crazy attack from.
I just think Horsemen of Ruckus was a bit lost that game. The spots didn't seem to know what they should be doing.
Yeah, they weren't stacking, they weren't pulling.
I think they're not used to being on the back end, and that probably made them a bit confused on what to do.
It's one of the things you have to keep in mind when you're a support player, is it's all about efficiency. When you're not in the lane, you should be stacking, pulling, or roaming to a gank. If you're not doing any of those things, you always have to have that mental checklist in your head. You're not actually accomplishing anything for your team, just because if you're under-leveled from roaming around and not being successful in those rotational ganks, then you're going to become food later on in the game. If you're not ensuring that your carries get farmed by stacking camp, by pulling, or by bullying the other laners out of the lane so that he can get uncontested free farm, you're actually costing your team the game, because you have to make usage of the fact in the first 20 minutes of the game, you actually have the highest game impact, and so you have to use that to leverage your team into a good position. So Lycanthrope has to carry for Felfy and Friends. Felfy plays a very good Lycanthrope. And Horsemen of the Ruckus, they don't seem to have a very good track record up against Lycanthrope. He was able to... 2IP were actually able to play a very good Lycanthrope in their Game 2 up against Horsemen of the Ruckus. So that means that they actually have a tiebreaker series tomorrow. So TYK have to have a best of 3 series up against 2IP to determine which one of them move on to the next stage. So that should be an interesting series. We've got a respect band, the Bristleback. So Flip Switch's signature hero is a very convincing offlane player. He was the offlane Weaver in the last game. Even though Weaver is a pretty ineffective 1v3 hero, he was able to play very passively, wait for the spawns to rotate, and then find his farm there. So he played his offlane role perfectly. He did unfortunately feed a kill to King Killer on Slark. But other than that, I was able to recover quite well.
Flip Switch is quite a safe player, I feel.
Yeah, it's surprising Vito Corleone and Flip Switch aren't actually playing in the ODL, they're just acting as stand-in, so just were they not able to find teams, or what's the story behind that?
Flip Switch, initially, I think Felfie and friends asked him whether he wants to join the team, but Flip Switch decided not to because of
10 seconds remaining.
Studies or the commitment.
Yeah, that's always true.
Looks like he might be regretting the decision.
He is occasionally getting his moments of glory alongside Vito Corleone, as he do get to stand in from time to time. Actually, a funny story with your captain, Bambi. Me and my friend Chris, when I was over in Sydney a few years ago, we used to, when we played Dota 2 at net cafes, we'd always queue against Chiyu the Retarded Mermaid. And we'd always be in the opposing team. He'd always pick up something like Chen or Visage, and we'd lose games to that. And so we used to get so angry, because we'd always see the name Chiyu. We're like, what the fuck is Chiyu? So we'd sit there and scream at each other, we lost to Chiyu! Chiyu!
Radiant.
And we'd call him out in the old chat, be like, fuck you, Chiyu! And so I didn't know it was the same guy until I started seeing him play this year. I was like, hang on a second.
Team pick.
Australian servers.
Funny coincidence.
Yeah, same story.
It's a bit of a small community, yeah.
Yeah, especially with the Australian servers. Same thing with Dumble D. I solo queued against him for a week. When he was playing nothing but Windrunner, I was playing nothing but Bounty Hunter. And every single game, I would either counter pick him or get items to shut him down. And he'd always call me out in an old chat, be like, get off my dick. And then one day when I was over at my mate's place, Dumble D's actually his flatmate. He was, my mate told me that Dumble D plays a lot of Dota 2, so I started talking to him. I was like, oh, wait, what's your Steam name? I'll add you. He said Dumble D. I was like, wait, have you been playing Mirana for like a week? Yeah. You know that guy that keeps shitting on you? Yeah, that's me. Small community.
It's small. The other day I just played again Flash and Lincoln's.
Oh wow.
Very small.
Yeah, the Australian servers are pretty small. So I guess once you reach a certain point, you wind up playing against the same players over and over again. Back when Dota 2 was in the beta stage, I actually queued against Sexy Bambo and Way Too Sexy 3 times in a row. And Way Too Sexy was playing Pocket. Yeah, in all 3 games, because that was back when I was in Korea, so I could only queue in the US servers. So queuing against pro players back when Dota 2 was in beta was a huge pain in the ass. Just because back then there was only about 1,500 people in Dota 2. So 3rd and 4th man.
It could be cold and sad at the same time.
It was sad, trust me. It was sad. So Nagasarin as well as the Puck being banned out from Felfie and friends. So Nagasarin, excellent counter to the Lycanthrope. Puck also a very good counter to the Invoker, just because he can bully him out of lane. If Invoker goes in for right-click trades, Puck can trade very easily or phase shift. Also has the Dream Coil to lock Lycan in place. And the Ancient Apparition ban coming up from the Horsemen of the Ruckus. They really don't like playing against the Kings of the Tri-Lane. It'll be interesting to see who they choose to pick up. They're actually deliberating a long time for that 3rd pickup. We've got the Lycan Dazzle combination, very standard. And it looks like they're going for an Earthshaker of their own. I don't actually know who their players can play Earthshaker. It could be Gats, since I don't think my flatmate Jamie plays Earthshaker. So very strong triple stun tri-lane potentially coming up from Horseman of the Ruckus. You have the Fissure into Arrow into Hoof Stomp double edge. If Dazzle, however, plays...
Scary.
But you have to keep in mind though, the Shallow Grave from Dazzle could actually make it work against Horseman of the Ruckus, since double edge puts Centaur Warrunner very low. So if the Dazzle hangs back and is able to get that Shallow Grave off when he double edges, Centaur, they could turn around and kill the Centaur Warrunner and then save their whoever hero gets initiated upon. Dazzle's a hero that works very well against over-aggressive teams such as Horseman of the Ruckus, since if you're on point with those Shallow Graves, you can force them to overcommit and always make it a trade. And so we've got a Timbersaw pickup from Felfie and friends as the offlaner. Road to 2.5k MMR, very good Timbersaw player. I guess they were expecting the Centaur Warrunner offlane, since Timbersaw beats Centaur Warrunner very handily in a one-on-one situation. He also beats Mirana very well as well, just because he has more CSing control than Mirana does, since he's got higher base damage, has the Willing Death to secure CS, and can go for denies, and out-deny the Mirana. What are your thoughts on this OD pickup?
I think it'll be good. It'll be good against Invoker.
On paper, Outworld Destroyer completely defeats Invoker just because you have the Astral Imprisonment to keep Invoker low. But at the same time, the last time I saw this happen was 2IP up against Felfie and friends, and it was the exact same matchup, OD up against Invoker. And what Invoker went cross-whack, so what he did is instead of going for CS, he just went for a Cold Snap, just traded hits and drove the Outworld Destroyer out of lane. And so... Well, on paper, it looks like a one game for the Outworld Destroyer. It really comes down to player skill. Since if Jesse isn't 100% on point with his OD play, Invoker can actually bully him and slap him in the lane with the Cold Snap Harass, as it does so much damage, and with Quaswex Invoker build, gives him a lot better mid-game presence than the Outworld Destroyer. And Luna ban coming out from Felfy and friends. They don't want to deal with the hyper-aggressive Luna tri-lane, just because that Lucent beam as well as the Luna Blessing gives Luna such strong aggressive capability, even if she is in a has 2 tri-lane support heroes.
10 seconds remaining.
So Horseman and Ruckus, very flexible draft. Mirana or the Centaur Warrunner could function equally well in the tri-lane or the off-lane. Would prefer to see Centaur Warrunner in off-lane, but I think UGTFO will be most likely be playing the off-lane situation, the off-lane role.
10 seconds remaining.
I think the OD Invoker comes down to whoever gets the better block.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, if you're able to get that high ground vision, Invoker can throw out the Cold Snap and go for a few cheeky right clicks in the Outworld Destroyer. Outworld Destroyer can go in for the Astral. And we've got a Lion ban coming up from the Horseman of Ruckus. So fearing the lockdown potential coming out from the Lion, just because especially with the Lycanthrope, if he goes for the early Medallion of Courage, he outputs a hell of a lot of right-clicking damage. Just because he has all the DPS he needs from the Feral Impulse, as well as the Howl. So having the Medallion of Courage just means that his right clicks hurt that much more, especially when you consider that all the heroes on the Horseman of Ruckus, apart from Mirana, have pretty low armor. So the Medallion of Courage will drop them to either build into the negative values or into just 0. So he's able to output a surprising amount of DPS then.
Reserve time.
So they just have to pick up the secondary support hero. So with the Dazzle, we could be seeing something like a Vengeful Spirit, since he also works very well with the Lycanthrope, because you've got the negative armor from Weave as well as the Howl. You've got the repositioning capability coming out from the Vengeful Swap, which can be used defensively. It's one of the reasons why Vengeful Spirit is such a strong support hero. And then you have that roaming power for Dazzle to follow up, to set up with the Poison Touch, since he's got a high initiation range. Then Vengeful Spirit runs up, throws the Magic Missile, and then they could go for a kill. Outworld Destroyer, like Invoker, is a very squishy mid lane hero. He doesn't have any escape mechanism, and they're going for a Sandking. Kind of surprising considering the fact that Horseman and Ruckus, I think, they're the only team I've seen so far that go for the Sandking. So we'll see how effective Felfy and friends pull off Sandking. And they just have to pick up their tri-lane hero now. So it'll be the carry that Dumbledee's going to be using. I would really like to see something like a Wraith King, just because I'd like to play such an aggressive early game strat with him. But with the Invoker EMP burn, highly doubtful. But you never know, they could surprise me. Who would you like as the tri-lane carry for the Horseman of the Ruckus?
5 seconds remaining.
Oh,
wow.
Razor, so they're kicking it old school. Razor has fallen out of favor significantly. Just with the resurgence.
Razor mid? Or like... Oh, no.
No, it has to be the Razor tri-lane. He is a very strong tri-lane hero. Just because if he goes for the max plasma field build, he could potentially deal up to 350 damage to all 3 heroes in the tri-lane.
I think he's solo.
Yeah, actually. Gats is on the Mirana. Yeah, so this looks like a tri-lane with UGTFO, usually the off-lane player, playing the Earthshaker. So you've got the Mirana, Centaur Warrunner, Earthshaker combination. Razor up against Timbersaw. Razor actually destroys Timbersaw in a one-on-one situation. So that's actually a pretty good counterpick coming up from the Horseman of Ruckus. I'm just going to quickly introduce the players from both teams. Ken Killer, Captain, and mid player over for the Horseman of Ruckus, over on the Outworld Destroyer. Dumbledee, carry player, over on the Razor. UGTFO, usually the off-lane player, over for the Horseman of Ruckus, this time playing a tri-lane support on the Earthshaker. Gat's going to be the tri-lane farmer over on the Mirana, usually the support player, and Rafiki playing that Centaur Warrunner. So Dumbledee going to go 1v1 as Razor up against Timbersaw. If it does turn into a tri-v-tri situation where Razor goes 1v1 against Timbersaw, he should be able to completely destroy him in lane with that static link. So he'll probably be going for the static link into unstable current build just to give him that extra chasing capability. Or if he's confident in his positioning play, he could just choose to go for Q into W, W into Q, to use that plasma field to finish people off as they flee. Over on Felfy and friends, that Captain, Felfy's friend, playing that Dazzle, support player for the team. Road to 2.5k MMR on the signature hero, the Timbersaw, so he's going to be going up in that one-on-one off-lane. Stand-in Vito Corleone on one of his best heroes, well at least one of the best ones I've seen, up on the Invoker. It'll be interesting to see if he chooses to go for Quaswex or Quas Exilot. Probably Quaswex, considering the teamfight power coming out from Felfy and friends. Flip Switch, that stand-in was the off-lane player in the last game. Going to be playing the Sandking, and Felfy, the mascot for the team, not the captain, surprisingly enough, going to be up on the Lycanthrope. And so in a try-v-try situation, who do you think actually has the advantage? 5-200?
In terms of offensive power, definitely Horseman of Ruckus, but I think it comes down to whether Dazzle gets the Shallow Grave on time. That might turn around the fight.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Dazzle does have a pretty high cast point. I think it's 0.6 for Dazzle, so you always have to keep that in mind with the Shallow Grave. You don't want to cast it too early because then it's wasted. You don't want to cast it too late because then they're dead, so you have to find that sweet spot of getting it off right before they die, since then you can give them 5 seconds where they're completely invincible.
To battle.
Vito Corleone going for that Quas Wax build. Yeah, that's true. So if they can negate that burst with that Shallow Grave though, they can force the Horseman of the Ruckus to overextend. Since you've got 2 melee support heroes, Earthshaker is just going to be throwing out their Fissure, and Centaur Warrunner, who has to get up close and personal with the Hoof Stomp and then with the Double Edge. And so the Dazzle could actually be an excellent counter pick. So they're clashing Tri-v-Tri over in the off lane for the Dire. And while it's happening, Ray's in the top lane. Dumbledore, he's going to be having a ball of a time. He's going for Static Link at once, so he knows exactly what he has to do to win. Could be seeing a 3-man rotation in the mid lane. Horsemen of Ruckus like to do this as one of their signature plays, but immediately they've got a Radiant Ward placed there in the high ground, so unless they smoke, it will be spotted out. So great play coming out from Felfie and friends. They've done their homework. They know what Horsemen of Ruckus like to do.
They smoked up.
Oh, so it's getting serious now. They're smoked up. So you got the Fissure into Error.
Game 1, they're not happy.
Yeah, they're not too happy at all. The upside to this, though, is it means that they actually make it into easier seed, since now Horseman of Ruckus are into the losers bracket. So that's actually going to be an easier seed for them. So I think they'll be up against teams such as Team Standard Strat and whatever other team makes it in for group number 1. Since I think Struggle and Blink are leading the scoreboards. Astral Prism to set him up. Where's the Fissure? Perfect! Fissure block. Catch it up, Vito Corleone. Actually, might have screwed up. Never mind, Outworld Destroyer's caught out of position. And Vito Corleone running for his life. He's just picked up level 2, so he's got the Cold Snap. And he's able to play Ring Around the Rosie. UGTFO must be kicking himself, or maybe King Killer is, because both of them screwed up in their own little way.
King Killer should have stayed at the bottom.
Yeah, actually, he got that Fissure. That's a perfect Fissure block. So nice UGTFO absolutely on point. Where's the arrow coming out from Gats? Gats throws out the arrow, and they get the first blood. So they waste a lot of time in the mid lane. But while that's happening, keep in mind, Felfie has had absolutely uncontested free farm. 6 CS on him. He's been able to kill every single creep without any kind of harassment. So they've sacrificed the tri-lane in exchange for winning the mid lane. So we'll see if it punishes them. But Invoker off to a bad start. Cold Snap harass over on King Killer. This is what I was talking about. Turns around, just astrals him.
Illusion.
16 intelligence stolen.
His OD should have the easier time now.
Yeah, that's definitely true. He already has a level advantage. So level 3 up against level 2. So Corleone only has the Cold Snap, but that's on cooldown at the moment. So without any points of Wex to give him that attack speed, it's going to be difficult. Goes in for another Astral. His mana pool is just being crippled now, so he's got enough mana for 1 Cold Snap, and then that's it. Although one of the things that has dropped Outworld Destroyer's effectiveness, especially in the competitive scene, is the fact that Astral Imprisonment used to actually be bugged before it was patched out. When he stole intelligence from you and when it returned back to you, it didn't give you the mana pool. It didn't give you the mana that stole, so it actually reduced your effective mana pool. Whereas now it's been patched out, that bug's been fixed, so when the Astral Imprisonment Intelligence debuff wears off, you do receive the same amount of mana that you had when you had the intelligence stolen from you. So that's actually a fairly significant buff. Nerf, sorry, over to the Outworld Destroyer, since that was the reason why he was such a dominant one-on-one hero. Since he already is hard enough to beat, with the fact that he will out-DPS you. Actually, King Killer very low. This is what I was talking about, Vito Corleone. Cold Snap hurts like a hell of... does a hell of a lot of damage. You can't just slap you silly with it. And with that Blades of Attack, even though he's not hitting very hard, Cold Snap is like a free Malefice that procs every time you take damage. So 60 magic damage every time he takes any form of damage, as well as that mini stun. Very powerful spell. Double damage rune, going to be picked up by UGTFO, or he's bodyguarding it at any rate. Actually, looks like they're going for the Centaur, Warrunner, and the offlane... No, never mind. Gats is going to be on his own as the offlane player. Well, they have a tri-lane with the Razor as well as the Earthshaker. So the Razor, Earthshaker, and the Centaur Warrunner. Huh.
I really don't like the 2 roaming supports. I don't think it's working out for If you look at the XP and the goal graph, they're starting to fall behind.
Yeah, Felfie and friends are already starting to take that EXP lead, because their tri-lane supports, they're either sitting there in lane getting EXP, or they're stacking and pulling. So they're being a lot more efficient in their support play. You see Invoker actually forced to try to go for some neutrals, even though he doesn't hit hard enough to kill them, so he's been having a very difficult time. This is the reason why Outworld Destroyer is such a strong 1v1 hero, is he doesn't just win the lane, he completely crushes it. But that's at the same time, he has to do that. Yeah, just because if OD doesn't completely win the lane though, when the mid game comes around, Invoker has the AoE presence coming out from the Tornado into EMP. Outworld Destroyer just has down his Eclipse, so he needs a gold and EXP lead. OD going for a very standard build. He's picked up double damage on, so he's right-clicking very hard. Vita Corleone almost could have taken the fall there if he had one more Astral Imprisonment to trap him in place, to give OD time to walk up, take that high ground, get those extra right-clicks in. Throws out another Astral. Vita Corleone is really regretting picking Invoker this game. He doesn't have boots up. He will have phase up soon. Very low base damage. Once he has phase, he'll get a little bit better, since he can at least escape the Astrals. We've got rotation coming out with Felfie's friend as well as Flip Switch, but no Poison Touch over on Dazzle. Actually, he's been holding on to his skill point, so never mind, that could be why. So he could get 2 points up in the Poison Touch, follow up the Burrow Strike. King Killer's actually overextending right now. If he stays where he is, he actually could be called out. It could be feeding him a kill over to Felfie's friend. Eats that Poison Touch, Cold Snap, and Poison Touch is so much work to get Burrow Strike. No way he's going to survive that. He takes a fall. That's a thing to keep in mind. Poison Touch and Cold Snap have fantastic synergy because any form of damage will proc Cold Snap. So not only do you have Cold Snap proccing from right clicks, you also have it proccing from the Poison Touch. So double the amount of Cold Snaps happening. However, it does have a very slight cooldown. Yeah, I really would like to see some rotations happening from Horseman of the Ruckus as well. Well, they could have at least gone for a kill attempt over on Felfie when the support's rotated over. Centaur Warrunner could bully Lycanthrope out of the lane by staying in melee range. So if he goes in for a CS, he eats a Hoof Stomp, follow up with an arrow from Gats. They could have gone for a kill. But playing very passively. Bit surprised at how passively Horsemen of the Ruckus are playing. They usually do like to play hyper-aggressive. Ooh. Razor having a good game so far. He's picked up treads very early on. He's dominating top lane in terms of CS. Timbersaw's been completely shut down, so you do have to keep that in mind. While Horsemen of the Ruckus are playing passively in terms of their strategic positioning. In terms of the lane, they are winning their lanes this time. So that could be the critical factor. Since Razor, if he gets a very early BKB, it's game over for Felfie and friends. Just because he can pop BKB, get that static link off, and then run around just raining absolute havoc with those 200 right clicks. King Killer easily outlasting the Invoker, then goes in for that cheeky Astral. He's going for the very conventional Outworld Destroyer build, which is to max out the Astral Imprisonment, followed by the Essence Aura, and then you want to get a point up on your Arcane Orb. Since Arcane Orb without maxed out Essence Aura is completely useless, it actually takes away more DPS than it gives. EMP pops, King Killer might be on the receiving end, never mind, he just walks away. So Vita Corleone completely out of mana, Invoker without mana. And it's just a really shitty range creep since his right-clicking power has been significantly nerfed with all the intelligence he's losing. So King Killer is able to single-handedly win his lane at the moment. Would like to see a few more rotations. Or at least a gank attempt over in Felfie, since he's the last leg standing for Felfie's friends right now. Timbersaw hasn't been accomplished all too much. We've got a rotational gank happening with Flip Switch and Felfie's friend. UGTFO might be called out of position, but if they don't catch out Dumble D, Dumble D's going to be able to get a static link. Pops his Eye of the Storm. UGTFO is still alive. That actually could be a 2-3 kills over in favor for Horseman of the Ruckus. Felfie's friends running for his life, takes one right click. Double D whips him down. And that's the issue with going on a Razor. If you don't lock him down, he will kill everything. Like a Viper, he always forces you into that bad situation. Since if you focus him, he's pretty tanky and he's pretty hard to bring down, especially with the points up in the unstable current. Whereas if you don't, he'll just be able to kill everything that moves. He's got something flying over to him in the courier. Vitality booster. He's able to get that static link over on Timbersaw. Timbersaw is actually really taking a fall. 140 extra damage right now. 168. Never mind. That Fisher block catches him on the wrong side. UGTFO kicking himself once again. It's the issue with with Earthshaker as an aggressive hero is it all comes down to how good the player is. Since if you get wrong blocks like he did in the mid lane, like he did over in the top jungle, you can accidentally do more harm than what you can do, help. Razor looks like he's going for could be a Vanguard up on him. Would have preferred to see the Mechanism since it gives him a lot more team fighting presence. But all in all, Vanguard at the same time is a pretty good pickup since he's getting it very early. Arrow flies out. Actually hits a range creep. The range creep tanks the grenade for him. Vita Corleone instantly smacks it down. So in exchange for tanking that arrow, he's going to deny it. Very ungrateful plays coming out from the Invoker. Hoof Stomp into the Astral Imprisonment. Actually, great Burrow Strike. Catches out Centaur before he goes for the Hoof Stomp. He might be taking full. EMP finishes him off. Also catches out Gats and King Killer. They're both very low in mana right now.
Bottom tower. Run.
King Killer forced to run for his life. Juking around, getting as much HP as possible with that salve as well as the boulder. Now he's going to turn around and start training hits. He might actually be able to kill Never mind, Tornado keeps him alive. Chakram flies out. Timber chains up to provide some backup. Saying he's Eclipse. Doesn't have enough intelligence stolen. King Killer's going to take a fall. And Horseman of the Ruckus overcommitting and being caught. That was an amazing rotation coming up from Flip Switch. He saved his Invoker's life and got a free kill over the Centaur Warrunner. Great plays coming out from him. Vanguard picked up on Razor, so he's very tanky. Would like to see him go for that BKB or Drums. Also a very good pickup on him. Vanguard isn't a great pickup on range here just because it only blocks 20 DPS. He's getting that static link over in Dazzle. Dazzle's going to be very careful. He's taking so much damage right now, but Dumbledore might take a fall. That's the power of that Shallow Grave. It keeps him alive, and Dumbledore takes a fall with a Burrow Strike. Able to seal the deal. Great recognition coming up from Felfie's friend.
Dazzle's Horse's kryptonite, isn't it?
Yeah, that was some great plays coming out from him. Getting that Shallow Grave before he died, that instant support rotation coming out from Sandking. Really sealed the deal. So you see, in terms of gold, it is in favor of Horseman of the Ruckus, but it is falling very quickly. 2,000 EXP lead. And King Killer copying a lot of damage. That's the power of Invoker. Once he gets a few points up in Quast and Wex, he does so much damage. He's actually breaking even now. So King Killer's early lead falling apart since he's died twice. So even though he's able to beat the Invoker in terms of CS, in terms of net worth, they're almost identical now. Just because Invoker was able to get those kills. Choosing to go for a point up in Arcane Orb before maxing out Essence Aura, I really don't like that build just because it doesn't give you as much DPS since you're relying on RNG to do your damage, so it's not as reliable as if you've chosen to max out the Essence Aura before going for a point over in the Arcane Orb. But at the same time, it does give him a bit more early game DPS, even if it is at the exchange of your laning presence. Tornado catches out the Mirana as well as Earthshaker takes a fall. Fisher catches out Centaur Warrunner. Hoofstomp catches out the Sandking, but he's got a few more seconds. He's got another half second on the Sandstorm invisibility. Shallow Grave popped a bit prematurely. Earthshaker takes a fall with the Wolves, able to finish the job over on Gats. UGTFO. Actually, Centaur Warrunner takes a fall to the Corleone. He's just able to clean up with one more right click. And Horseman of the Ruckus, they're really falling apart to Felfie and friends.
Dial's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it's the unstoppable force against the unmovable object. Since you've got Horseman of the Ruckus, who are renowned for their incredibly aggressive play, and Felfie and friends are known for their superior, more methodical, and more meticulous defensive play. So they're able to punish the Horseman of the Ruckus every time they overextend. Dazzle's a great pickup against Horseman of the Ruckus for that very reason. Just because Shallow Grave means you're forced to overcommit, and when you overcommit, you can make it a trade.
The Radiant should really do something about that middle tower.
Bit surprised, Razor chose to go for Treads instead of a Phase Boots. I'd usually prefer to see Phase on Razor since he's a hero that relies on his positioning. And especially with that unstable current, it gives you that much more movement speed. Similar to the Death Prophet with the Witchcraft. Gives you a lot more ways to be able to close the distance. Vito Corleone actually going to catch out King Killer. And never mind, he's going to kill that Courier. One more right click. Tornado to provide vision. Courier is magic immune, you have to keep that in mind. Only Nagasara Net works on Courier. Maybe he jumped the gun a bit. Maybe he used it to provide vision. He's almost got his Drums of Endurance, a great pickup on Invoker, provides him the stats as well as the movement speed he needs. Quas Wex Invoker doesn't right click very hard, but has the movement speed and the attack speed to get multiple hits off. So he wins just by running you down. Centaur Warrunner still doesn't have his ult. Have to keep in mind both the support players over on the Dire side are very low. Sandking is also low, but he's going to hit level 6 with the experience coming in from him leeching EXP. Medallion of Courage picked up by Felfie's friend. So he's gone for Vladimir's into the Medallion of Courage. Very good pickup on him, especially when you have negative armor coming up from the weave. King Killer actually cops the EMP and cold snap to the face. He might actually be taking a fall. One more right click, two more right clicks. Never mind, he should be the bottle himself. And that magic stick saved his life.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. It has no arms to defend itself.
Really would like to see a Magic Stick picked up on every single hero right now, but that's just me. Magic Stick saves lives. That burst 225 mana and HP can be so clutch in some of these situations, as you saw in that mid lane. King Killer will take the fall there if he didn't use that Magic Stick. But Vito Corleone bullying him out of lane now.
It's surprising to see OD starting to lose the lane to Invoker.
Yeah, it's Invoker with the EXP lead. Just can't catch him out the tornado. So, like, level 8 Outworld Destroyer up against a level 11 Invoker. The 2 deaths have really crippled the Outworld Destroyer. Whereas Invoker has 3 kills. So he also has better laning items with the phase drum compared to treads. Treads don't really offer you much lane control. Phase drums do, just because you can use the phase boot movement speed as well as the drums. You get a few right clicks in. You see, OD now is too afraid to go in for the Astral. Just because he knows that if he runs up to get the Astral, Invoker can actually stun him with the Cold Snap, throw out the Tornado. If he's able to invoke the EMP, that actually could be a kill. So Outworld Destroyer, falling apart. Now you see the weaknesses of OD as a mid-game hero, as unless he gets an absolutely amazing start in the early stages of the game, he does fall apart very quickly. Top lane looks like a gank attack. Great Fisher block this time. Catches that road to 2.5 KMR. The instant rotation coming out. Dumbledore called out with the poison touch as well as the bar strike. He could be taking 4 right now. Chakram actually seals the deal. Echo Slam gets 1 kill, but he takes another fall. Shallow Grave from Felfie's friend. A bit unnecessary, but keeps him alive nonetheless. Felfie's friend supports. They're always there whenever they need to be. Great rotations coming out from them. Would like to see the same from the Horsemen and Ruckus. Their supports, I don't really know what the hell Centaur Warrunner is doing. He's kind of just been running around, not accomplishing anything. They like to run tri-lane Centaur Warrunner, but he only works if you play very aggressively, if you get kills in your tri-lane, or if you roam around with another support hero. Otherwise, he kind of just becomes almost a wasted hero. He hasn't accomplished anything for his team.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's not even close to his Blink Dagger, and he didn't really accomplish.
The Radiant should really do something about that middle tower.
Yeah, and without Stampede, he can't solo gank because the instant you see Centaur Warrunner galloping towards you, just run away. He's a fairly slow hero, so you need another hero to be able to help set up the stun. You see King Killer instantly checking the Roshan, since he knows that Felfie's got the Medallion Courage as well as the Vladimir's offering. Reason why Medallion the Courage is picked up on Lycanthrope is because it's actually a very efficient DPS and farming mechanism. Back when Lycanthrope used to be played as a jungler in the competitive scene, you see Medallion of Courage picked up on him just because it actually enabled him to jungle almost as efficiently as Enigma. So it was a GPM item as much as a damage item. We've popped on UGTFO, and he throws out a Fisher in return. Defensive ward there placed by instantly going to be de-warded by the Wolves. Lycanthrope playing his support game, using his Wolves to de-ward. He actually could get a kill over at UGTFO. Look how much damage the Wolves are doing without Weave. Arrow flies that provide covering fire, but those Wolves are actually going to kill King Killer.
Oh my god.
Great micro coming out. One more right click.
Come on, crit.
Crit, never mind. Tornado misses. UGTFO barely escapes with life. That's the power of the Weave. You can't underestimate negative armor. It does so much more DPS, and it increases damage exponentially. Arrow flies out. Whiffs actually hits a flip switch in the face. Stampede looks like they're going around. Instant EMP. Weave flows out as well. Rafiki is out of mana. Cops a lot of damage. As Sally's Eclipse popped. Flip switch is going to be a kill off Rafiki. He's low armor, low HP. Felfie runs in. He wants to play. Gats doesn't have enough mana to be able to leap out, so he's going to get run down by the Wolf. Felfie smacks him down. Flip switch catches out Dumbledore very late to the party. Pops the Eye of the Storm. Shallow Grave keeping Vito Corleone alive. Dumbledore, he doesn't want any part of this. He actually takes a fall. Horsemen and Ruckus completely falling apart. That amazing defensive play, with all their supports rotating when they need to. With that Shallow Grave keeping Felfie's friend Vito Corleone alive.
Dyer's middle tower has fallen.
Punishing the overextension.
Felfie friend.
Yeah, Felfie's friend. Clear MVP so far. His Shallow Graves have been on point. Him and Flip Switch have been rotating whenever anything's about to happen. We see him choosing to max out Shallow Grave for the decreased cooldown as well as the increased range. Shallow Grave actually used to have something like a 200 range at level 1. It has been buffed significantly to 550 at level 1. So now it's a much more powerful spell. Used to be Dazzle's biggest weakness. A few times he was picked up before he was buffed was by Virtus Pro. I think it was NS who played Dazzle. He actually used to max out Shallow Grave as his first big item because he'd make those huge plays with the Shallow Grave, with a 1000 range Shallow Grave. But that was before Dazzle was significantly buffed. Now you want to go for the max Poison Touch if you're playing aggressive, or max Shadow Wave if you're playing a bit more defensively. Or if you have something like a Naga Siren, so you have the net into Mirror Image into Shadow Wave. Huge burst damage coming out from that combination.
might actually play Dazzle in our games now. Very strong.
I'm giving Bambi Rising some ideas. So 7,500 EXP lead in favor of Felfie and friends and 4,000 gold lead. That experience is only going to continue to widen. As you see Lycanthrope picking up some tower kills.
You have to tell Victor. Meepo is a dumb pick, man.
I don't know, Meepo is surprisingly powerful.
Yeah, he is. But we
It's just-
haven't found the time to use it yet.
Hey, maybe if you guys make it to finals. If you guys make it to finals and don't pick Meepo, I'm gonna slap one of you boys silly.
It's okay. If you're on the verge of losing, we'll pick Meepo. Okay?
Alright. We'll see what we can choose to do. Road to 2.5 camera mark, caught out position, gonna eat that static link. Dumbledy maintaining that link. Arrow actually whiffs, but he's gonna take a fall anyway.
It was a difficult decision.
Deny coming out from Outworld Destroyer, so they're able to take a freebie over the top lane, a kill as well as a deny. Good play coming out from Horseman the Ruckus. Vito Corleone is running in, he wants blood. Misses the Tornado and the EMP. Throws out the Cold Snap, but Dumbledy can actually turn around in the Stampede. Outworld Destroyer comes in with the Arcane Orb, but Vito Corleone overcommitted. Where's that Ghost Walk? Never mind. Invoke was on cooldown and he takes a fall.
By the gods, the Dire's bottom tower does
Surprising.
I don't know what the Invoker was thinking over there.
Yeah, surprising misplay coming out from Vito Corleone, and he feeds a free 4-star over to Outworld Destroyer. Outworld Destroyer with maxed out Essence Aura, now his Arcane Orb starts to hurt like hell.
has fallen.
This is the point when Outworld
I
Destroyer...
got a free tower.
Yeah, so maybe he was just buying space. So I'm expecting a space created in all chat from Vito Corleone.
Is that worth it?
Worth.
Bet smoke.
Timbersaw able to get a kill over the top lane. King Killer called out of position. Didn't have his 4-star on him. I think he had it delivered. Yeah, the courier's flying out.
SK's got his bling now if he wants it.
Yeah, oh my god. Blink Dagger on support Sandking. He's got 9 assists and 0 kills and 0 denies. Sanking's been absolutely on point this game. Level 11 Sandking. Yeah, true support. He's got Blink Dagger up as well as at level 2 Epicenter. Horseman the Ruck has got to be very careful, since if they get caught out with that Blink Epicenter Burrow Strike, they're instantly going to get wiped in any of these engagements. As you also have to keep in mind, you've got the Tornado EMP to set up the Sandking. Tornado to catch out 2-3 heroes. Epicenter, Blink, Burrow Strike. Instant fight loss for Horseman the Ruckus, and Felfie and friends have that amazing wombo combo coming out from those 2 heroes.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. It has no arms.
Arrow flied out, actually catches out Felfie's friend. Felfie's friend might be taken for no. Great defensive Tornado. Never mind. Sends Eclipse, finishes the deal. Flip switch, caught out with the Echo Slam. Never mind. Hoop stop, misses. Where's that Plasma Field? He's able to blink out. Fantastic plays coming out from Flip switch. Just barely keeping himself alive. Road to 2.5 km. Timber chaining himself to safety. Breaks the link, being chased away. But while that's happening, Corleone 4-stuffs himself over to the high ground, praying to God they don't have dust. He's going to 4-stuff himself back down with that Ghost Walk. Keeps himself alive. Very clutch plays coming out from him.
Dire's middle tower is all alone in the world.
Awkward called out from Vito Corleone as he just barely keeps himself alive. Bloodstone picked up. Felfie might be taking a fall. Great body box coming out from Ken Killer. Needs one more right click. Where's that Fisher coming out from UGTFO? He's able to catch him in place. Felfie running for the hills. Runs through the tower. And he turns back into a man. So he's just a pissed off German dude with some claws. Arrow flies out. Where's that arrow if it lands? Never mind. He's able to TP to safety. Necrobook 2 picked up on him. He's been keeping us treads on agility. I don't know what the rationale for that is. Lycanthrope actually has good attack speed from Feral Impulse. Keep him on treads. Tornado catches out Kin Killer. What do you think Horseman the Ruckus need to do if they want to turn this game around? 5-200?
I think they gotta play more defensive. I think the supports are already too under level. There's no way for the supports to catch up. So maybe stack for the carries. Because the only way they can come back right now is from OD and
the Razor getting big.
Razor.
Yeah. The thing with Razor is he does need a lot of gold before he picks up. You see Tommy going for a SNY over a BKB. I tell him every single game, build a fucking BKB. He always builds an SNY instead. So we'll see if that build punishes him. I don't know why he doesn't like building BKB. Yeah, it could be. Maybe it's just a value Yasha towards a BKB. I'd like to hope so. One can choose to hope. I swear, Horsemen of the Ruckus, they lose more games than they win because they go for these really stupid item builds. They're a team full of pub stars, and it really shows in some of their builds.
Because BKB's not manly enough.
Bro, it's 10 seconds where you can't be stopped. You could go on a rampage with BKB up.
I know, BKB is so OP. Oh my gosh. And I just... My problem is I don't pop BKB on time.
Yeah, that's true. It's also the timing for when you want to use it. UGTF catches out Falcon Flames, could actually kill him. Never mind, Shallow Grave keeps him alive. That's the power of the Dazzle pickup. Flip switch, goes in with a great power strike. Aegis Demon just reclaimed. UGTF throws with a 1-man Echo Slam. Gets 2. Says a clip, catches out another. Astral Imprisonment. Up on Flip Switch is able to TP out. Great reactions coming out from him. Vita Corleones runs for the hills. With that wax, Timbersaw buys back. Very surprising considering he had the Bloodstone. Plasma Field interrupts the bar, so he actually gets a kill. That Whirling Death, that Chakram instantly kills Rafiki over the Centaur Warrunner. Horseman of Ruckus got it back the hell away, but Blink into Burst like on 2. Fantastic plays coming out from him. King Killer says get the hell back. Double Star still actually kills him. UGTFO gets called out in the back end. But while that's happening, Wolfman knocking on your door. He's going to take a free set of racks. That's the power of the Lycanthrope. He wasn't in that fight at all. And that just makes it... Yeah, space created. Dumbledore duking it out with Felfie. But Felfie is very happy to do this. He's got those minions who are doing more damage than he is right now. Dumbledore might actually be taking the fall if he's not careful. Never mind, the Necro 3 image dies. One more shot from the Wolf. Where's the Wolf? Going for the right click. No, the damage block too strong from the Vanguard. Horseman of the Ruckus falling apart from the split pushing power of the Lycanthrope. Big Bad Wolf knocking on your door. Takes a free set of wrecks while all that was happening. So not only did Felfie and friends break even in that fight, even though it was 4v5, they take a free set of racks. So space created. And I don't know how they can turn around from this. When you're 1 set of racks down against a Lycanthrope, you gotta always be playing scared. Just because he can run up, use that shapeshift to just kamikaze and take out another set of racks. Especially if he picks up an Aegis. Lycanthrope doesn't really mind kamikazing at that point. He hasn't died at all this entire game. 2-0-4. Playing that PvE.
Well played by Felfie.
SNY picked up a Razor. God damn it. You pick up SNY when you're ahead, not when you're behind. Pubstar builds coming up from Horseman of the Ruckus. It looks like this could be their first loss. Since they haven't lost a series so far. They've lost games, but never a series. So Felfie and friends, very methodical, precise play coming out from them. Could be punishing the Pubstar plays coming up from the Horseman of the Ruckus. Outworld Destroyer looks like he's going for a BKB. If he built an SNY, I'm actually going to slap one of the players because SNY and Outworld Destroyer completely wasted on him. But BKB, very good pickup on him. It lets him deal a surprising amount of DPS as Outworld Destroyer with his Arcane Orb hits very, very hard. Especially if he's able to get the space to get those right clicks in. If he's able to get those Astrals to increase his DPS further. Felfie's friend going to go for some D-warding. Gets a 3-man weave. Has a 4-star, called out with the 4-star Astral from Outworld Destroyer, but he instantly backs away. They can't take a fight while Weave is up on them, just because it does decrease the armor by such a significant amount. We see King Killer. -3 armor right now. The Weave, before Weave wears off, it'll be lower. Gat's going toe-to-toe up against the Timbersaw. Tornado EMP catches out Centaur Warrunner, burning off most of his mana. Never mind, the EMP popped before the heat drops. Moonlight Shadow drop. UGTFO going balls deep. Flip Switch eats the Echo Slam. Never mind, he ate the Saturday's Eclipse. 1-2.5 came on. Great Echo Slam coming out from him, but too little too late. 2 kills for 2, but that's an Outworld Destroyer down. Dumbledore getting duped out with my Vita Corleone just being a smack him down. Gat's going toe-to-toe with Felfie's friend, but that's Shallow Grave keeping him alive. Felfie's friend, MVP of this game. Being able to make sure that their trades are always more successful. Deafening Blast locking Gats as well as disarming him. Vita Corleone going balls deep. Arrow flies out, catches him in the face. Gats will have leap off cooldown. Turns, goes in for the double Starstorm. Going for a trade, but with Cold Snap, you can't trade against Invoker. And the Big Bad Wolf taking down your racks in the mid lane. This looks like game for the Horseman of the Ruckus.
Dire's middle tower is all alone in the world, being attacked.
Yeah, the gold lead and the EXP lead is too far. 12,000 EXP lead. 15,000 gold lead. Razor and the Outworld Destroyer weren't able to get enough gold and enough farm to be effective. UGTFO has been doing it. Actually, Vita Corleone might die. He dies. Outworld Destroyer smacks him down. They're able to hold their racks. Great plays coming out from UGTFO.
Dire's middle barracks are
And then Lycanthrope feeds his first death in the game. going a bit too far.
Overconfidence.
Yeah, overconfidence being smacked down. Timbersaw going for the Yule Scepter. Very good pickup on him. You can use it to set up the Chakram, so you Yules them up, walk up, get the Welling Death, and then instantly get the Chakram pass damage, so both ticks to the Chakram. Surprising amount of burst damage coming out from that. Also gives him movement speed, and it means that if he gets silenced, he can always cycle himself up to purge off the debuff. Thing to keep in mind. Flip switch getting a bit of farm in the backhand. He's got drums of endurance, so that's a very farm support Sandking. Felfie's friend with that 4-staff. He's got the positional plays. He's chosen to max out that Shallow Grave, and for good reason. He's been on point with them. UGTFO support v support on the Ward Wars. He might actually be taking a fall. We're to 2.5 km, throws in the Chakram, goes in, never mind, caught out the Blink Power Strike. Chakram flies out. Cyclone's up to Centaur, eliminating from the fight. Gets able to kill in the background. Centaur Warrunner able to get that double edge, but he could be taking a fall with that Timbersaw, Timber Chain, Welling Death. Cold Snap over and King Killer. Force himself to Roshan. Roshan actually smacks down Outworld Destroyer with that negative armor. He says, get the hell away from my pit. Meatball drops, it's going to kill Gats. And Invoker just stomps on the enemy team. Rafiki fleeing for his life. Razor able to take a first tail, 1 tower for Horseman the Ruckus over the top lane. But that's a free set of racks. BKB popped by Felfie prematurely.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Safety first.
Dire's structures are fortified, just like me.
From the Lycanthrope as he pops his BKB. Fortifications pop, but he takes his free set of racks.
Dire's middle barracks have fallen in the line of duty.
The Ice Wall coming out from the Invoker, preventing any counter initiation. Necro Minion's going to be taking a fall, but that's 600 pure damage he eats, so Dumbledy eats that to the face. 2 sets of racks down. Sheepstick up on Invoker, as well as a free Roshan. I don't think the Dire side can choose to contest this. As UGTFO, does he have a Blink Dagger? No, no Blink Dagger up on UGTFO. If he had a Blink Dagger, they could choose to perhaps contest this, but without that, not too much you could do. See Timbersaw actually hanging around on the high ground, throwing out the Chakram, using it to harass back Roshan.
The Radiant have carved their names.
Timber chains himself to safety.
Has fallen.
And I don't think Horseman... Yeah, I don't think Horseman the Ruckus can play against Dazzle as well as the Lycanthrope. Those are 2 heroes that seem to wreck them in every game that I've seen them play. 100% win rate against Horseman the Ruckus. So for future captains, keep that in mind. Team counters, Stampede, 4-star forward. Shallow Grave popped prematurely. Astron Prism saves him from the EMP. Where's the Epicenter? Epicenter being challenged by Flip Switch. It's going to kill off Gats in the background. Dumbledy taking a lot of damage. BKB War of Outworld Destroyer having a ball of a time. There was much damage. Echo Slam drops. Radiant Courier drops as well during all of that. Aegis the Immortal being popped. Horseman the Ruckus somehow able to hold. Timbersaw able to smack down the Earthshaker. Force up himself up to the high ground. Then TP's great plays coming out from him. But that looks like game. 4 heroes are down. Lycanthrope still alive. Necronomicon 3 up on him. Buybacks coming out from UGTFO, but I don't know how effective that's going to be unless he's able to get the best official block of his life. Felfie doesn't care. He just runs up to him. Astral Imprisonment keeping him alive. King Killer copying a lot of damage from that pure damage. He might actually be risking death there. Where's the Yule Scepter? Yule Scepter traps him in place. And Welling Death by a few more right clicks. UGTFO trying to bodyguard as much as possible. Chakram seals the deal. And while that's happening, Vito Corleone, Alacrities himself, that's beating on the tower. And Horseman the Ruckus
middle tower is under attack.
getting their aggressive play thrown right back at their face. Some amazing defensive plays and rotations coming out from the support plays from Felfie and friends. Showing off the power of friendship. While that's happening, Ancients are taking a lot of fire. UGTFO backing away. Felfie and friends, they're going in for a gank with that Stampede, but Stampede instantly countered. It's thrown up in the air. No Blink Dagger on the Centaur Warrunner. Really questioning the effectiveness of the Centaur Warrunner pick. King Killer turned into a pig. Eating torn apart, but attracting the Whirling Death. Area hits Falfie's friend. But with King Killer down, actually gets a great bow strike over on 4. Tornado, where's the EMP? Ice Wall dropped instead. Moonlight Shadow dropped. Never mind. Dumbledy takes the fall with the Whirling Death. Was liking to me to right click him down. Weave providing such huge DPS increase for Lycanthrope. That's Mega Creeps. Ancient's been taking damage this entire time. GG called. 33 minutes into the game. Felfie and friends able to take a convincing 2-0 victory up against the Horseman of the Ruckus, who are now dropped into the losers bracket. Meatball into Deafening Blast combination from Invoker in the backhand. And Velthy and friends are actually able to take Horsemen of Ruckus's undefeated spree. They'd lost games, they hadn't lost the entire series. So it looks like Horsemen of Ruckus are now in the losers bracket for the next stage. Will Velthy and friends and Bambi Rising move on to the winners bracket? Should be interesting to see if TYK or 2YP are able to move on to the next stage. I think they have a best of 3 tiebreaker series played tomorrow. So that's it for tonight. 5200, any final thoughts in the game?
Good play by Felfie and friends. I'm actually very impressed. They improved a lot.
Yeah, they've improved a
Horsemen and
huge
Ruckus,
amount.
Horsemen and Ruckus, I think they played alright. Maybe the support's a bit lost, but I think might just be a form thing.
Yeah, the
Bounce back.
tri-lane Centaur Warrunner really wasn't effective. Earthshaker did create a lot of space and win a lot of fights with his Echo Slams, but the Centaur Warrunner pick was completely wasted. He didn't accomplish anything at all in the early stages of the game. And once the mid-game came around, he didn't have his Blink Dagger, so his initiation was entirely reliant on that Stampede, so it was too little too late from that Centaur Warrunner. Would like to see some more efficient support plays. Yeah, right, is he lost?
Alright, good game.
Alright, that looks like it's it for tonight, so that's 49 signing out.